Hey guys, welcome to an update video. I'm the Worm, this is the Proton. We are going to be updating the Kanga EVOD.
The keyboard.
We did get this from First Vape. We did receive this free of charge, but obviously it's not going to affect our review.
We pointed this out, this is
and
just
so forth. Yeah.
First Vape, the UK, up there, down there.
Big thanks to Dave.
Yeah.
So,
big thank you to Dave for sending this down to us. We've said he's going to do a follow-up after watching our review. Dave was like, give that a fucking good run through and let us know how it goes. So that's what we're doing.
It's been what, a week?
It's been about a week. Exact day I can't remember. My weeks are one day now. Welcome vouch. This thing has been well and truly put through its paces.
He doesn't put it down.
I haven't stopped using it purely because, as we said in the first video, this is probably going to dictate as to whether we buy a Pro tank or not, and we both like the look of them very much, and we really want it to work well. So I have been using this a lot, still on the same head that it came with a week on. I'd guesstimate about 30 ml of juice has been put through this thing, so about 10-20 of them full. Still good, still very good. I've had no leaking whatsoever, none at all. It's had several flavours. At the minute you may get a bit of cranberry and a bit of maple in there, because it's had both today.
More cranberry than maple.
More cranberry than maple, because cranberry was from there recently. Basically, I have no idea what I was about to say, but it has been one of the appropriate paces, same head as I've already stated. The only thing I've had with it, literally the only thing I've had with it, is a gurgle about twice. And that is literally, push the button, it's gone. It's literally just a gurgle and it's been sat there. I've had no dry hit of this, and I'm not, when I say no dry hit, I'm lying. I had one dry hit. It was at the point,
It's like
it was at the point basically this thing wicks so well that you can actually completely empty the tank, and I mean completely. There was no liquid left in the tank at all. I opened up, but there was nothing for me to touch that had basically liquid on it apart from the actual wick itself. And it's working beautifully still. Even when we did the review and it's working really well, I kind of had in the back of my mind. I remember saying this to Worm about the T3s when we first got them, but there's been nothing. There's literally absolutely nothing with this that has been any problem whatsoever. As we said, the vape is slightly cooler than a V3, but it is a very satisfying vape, this EVOD. I'm not used to going onto a clearomizer and being completely satisfied compared to the drippers and stuff. The flavour of this still isn't as good as a dripper. It is never going to be as a clearomizer, but it's still very, very good flavour. The head itself working like a dream still after a week's worth of what I would call severe use. The first couple of nights, me and him didn't really vape anything else. It's literally a case of when I put this down, he picked it up, and it couldn't have been.
It got hit very hard the first night.
It's had about a month's worth of vaping through it for a normal person in about a week. So we really wanted to make sure this thing worked well, and we have. Still, I don't think there's anything's changed on it.
No, it's still a banging little clearomizer. It really is. It looks beautiful. It works beautiful. What more can you ask from your device? Especially for £5.25, I think it is.
£5.35, I think. £5.30. We're both wrong. Somewhere in the middle.
£5.30. So
£5.30 from First Vape.
What can you ask more for a fucking device? You know, bam.
He swore. It's me that does that, so it shows that it's good. The vapor fit have actually got slightly better from that original review, just because that core's bedded in slightly. Flavour of it is still very, very good. Not as good as a dripper, slightly muted compared to that, but still tell exactly what flavour it is meant to be in now.
Have you noticed any drop off? Because you said you're going to re-wick it in this video. We are going to go down and he's going to re-wick it. So let's all have some laughs.
He's such a douche, honestly. Right, I do want to point out that since he started giving a whole meh about me re-wicking this, I've re-wicked like 5 heads today. No problem whatsoever. Not for the Kanga, but for some V3s and some Novas and whatever else. This is going to be no more difficult than them. I have faith in myself.
Well, let's hope for a few laughs.
And to be honest with you, Steve, I know you watch all these, and we haven't done shout-outs for a while, so I just want to shout out to everyone else, and Steve, and that way I can't forget to mention people, to be honest with you. Can you stop that vibrating, please?
I can't.
You can, push the volume button. Honestly, phone's going off and everything. Shout out to everyone. I can't remember what I was going to say. But yeah, I'm going to read this for you. Well, give it a go anyway. And I think it's going to be beautifully simple. And we're going to come up and have a vape and have a little bit more chinwag about it. I think we're going to rush straight into that now. And then afterward, we'll have another chat. Alright guys, basically what I've done is quickly wash this out, just so I don't get juice all over my hands and fingers. It's a case of unscrew that. If you know how to change out your head, you know how to do this, and literally unscrew your anti head from your body. I'm not going to need those two pieces, I can go over there. Then literally slide your silicone off, and this, I might be able to do this by hand, probably not. Okay, and basically I'm going to needle nose this prong out, just a bit of backwards and forwards talking. There we go. That pops out and exposes your coil and your wick in there. Don't know if you can see. Oh god. There you go. Coil and wick are in now. Lovely stuff. So I'm going to put your prong down. I'm not going to need that just now. And for the bottom, this is why I think it's going to be slightly easier if anything than Nova, because oh god, you've got purchase. Usually these positives are sort of inlaid, so they're a bit harder to get around. This I should just be able to grab like that, twist and pull, and we're out. Okay, that's your positive, and hopefully your negative rubber bung there, and that comes out too. Quite a good size rubber bung actually. Then I should, in theory, nope, that's not going to work. A miniature gold screwdriver might come in handy here to poke the coil out. There we go. Oh no, that's a bit of hippie wick. Looks like you've got a couple of little bits of hippie wick on there. Probably just to help it feed to the top and bridge that gap slightly. And that is your pre-installed coil. Looks like some maybe 1mm wick in there, and you've got no idea how many wraps around that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wraps around that, and that was 2.5 ohms. We're going to be using 32 gauge Canthol for this. As you can see, I have a little bit of pre-flamed 32 gauge in now. For this, I've actually got a little bit cut here. The advantage of this is you need such a small amount of wick with these, so I think I'll get away with just using that quite happily. I don't like using one piece of wick if I can help it though, to be honest, so I might see how much I can get in here. I'm just going to have a quick size up, guys. Sorry about this.
I am here, guys. Hello.
He is here. He is here. I think what I'll probably do is, oh god, after I've nearly thrown that, I think what I'll do very quickly is I'm going to cut off that little bit there. This is 1.45mm wick that we got from Pink Mule. It says 1.45, I'll say it's closer to 2 if I'm honest with you. I'm going to wrap my coil around this single piece, and I might lay a bit of this stranding on top just to give it a little bit of hippie wick to make sure that gap's bridged properly, so I don't feel I've got enough room for 2 in there. From here, it should be fairly simple, and with the cane, because you've got no long hairs coming off the side of the wick, you don't even really have to focus on wrapping just in the middle. Wrapping on one piece of wick is a bit of a pain in the bum though, because you've got no real rigidity in the wick. So I'm going to give this, I think, 5 wraps, just purely because it is going around one piece of wick, and that is going to give you a lot less wire in total used. How many is that? That's 5 there if you include that one. That is over to the left. There we go.
Do you want to close up of that?
You give me 1 second, let me just space these out slightly because they're atrocious at the minute. Again, guys, I've said it before in other videos, I worry less about my coil usually until it's in a device. With this, how it is here is pretty much how you're going to end up with it. So try and make sure it's a pretty spot on coil before you start sticking it in, because otherwise it is going to be a bit slack and loose. Okay, that there, I don't know if you're going to make that out. Can you make that out?
Right, focus.
That there is my coil. I've got 5 wraps on that. See them? Just. Okay, once you've done this, all you need to do really, I made that a bit long, haven't I? I have made it a bit too dramatically long. Cut that down slightly. You then literally just poke your 2 bits of Canthol back through there and slot that in that gap there, so it sits like that. Oh my god, like that. Okay, you can see this coil slightly off center. Centralize your coil. It's quite important. It centralizes. If you're touching the body, obviously you're going to be shorting, so that's what you want to be ending up with. Okay, basically that coil's bang on in the middle, and then what I tend to do anyway is pull one side a bit tight, bend it over, pull that side a little bit tight and bend that over too, just because it holds it in place. Your rubber bung there, it just slips over one of these wires, doesn't matter which. Rubber bung slips over. I get that started in there. God, honestly, why is it always the simple things that ruin you? It always is, isn't it? Sorry guys, I know people can't see much of this, but I'm having to use quite a bit of man force to force this bloody thing in.
And it still ain't working.
It still ain't happening, is it? Probably because they use a lower...
You were looking for something to laugh at. This is it.
There you go. Fucking arse. Alright. Get in.
You can't get it in.
I can't.
That's what she said.
I'm not struggling to find a hole, guys. I'm like the worm. I'm too big for it, unfortunately.
That's not what she said.
He lies. Right, I'm going to use a gold screwdriver to get this bloody thing in if I have to. My God, how am I struggling so much with this? I really don't know. So basically, in the first video, Worm's like, I think I'll end up doing a Kango because he'll struggle, and it's just not true. It's just apart from this one bit. God. Sorry, guys. The worm can flap for a bit whilst I'm trying to concentrate here because this is just not going well for me.
Do we really want to flap, guys, or do we want to sit here and have a little laugh?
You want to?
We do really want to sit here and laugh, don't we, guys? I mean, let's be honest.
Bugger off, honestly. You aren't funny whatso bloody ever.
Don't forget, guys, you can get this from firstvape.co.uk. It is £5.30. We've looked around on other sites and it's pretty much the cheapest one we found. It's only by a couple of pence, but it is still cheaper. You can get it in black or I believe it's like a metallic
stainless steel.
Is it stainless steel?
This is stainless steel.
That's why I'm just checking the base, guys.
I'm in, guys. I'm in. I do want to point out that Dave did a discount code for us, which was ProWorm, and that will get you 10% off of your orders from there. So obviously definitely use that, guys. We'll make sure you can see that on the screen and stuff as well.
ProWorm.
ProWorm. It's our first official discount code and we're incredibly happy about it. Basically, once you manipulated your rubber into place, you then push your metal prong in. Basically what that's done is the one that goes inside your rubber bung becomes your positive, which is connected to that, and the one that goes out of body becomes your negative. Apply a bit of tension, give it a wee spin, and it will break off nice and clean for you. Same with a positive, give it a little spin. Always when I say give it a little spin, it never works. Give it a little spin, and that is effectively the coil. Like I said, what I'm probably going to do is lay a few strands of this wick across the top just to give it a little bit of a hippie wick to make sure that it's not going to be too loose in there and have flooding issues. So a couple bits across like that. From there, alright, you literally just push your metal post back in. Okay, there we go, we're back in. Now if Worm has a little close up on that, I'm not sure if you'll be able to see that in a minute. A little close up on that, you can see it's just tight at the top. Ignore the fact that it looks sloppy as a bugger. Then literally just grab your tweezers, whatever it is you're using. I prefer tweezers, especially for stuff like this. Cut that there. Most of that will pull off. I'm always left with one bloody strand. Then a little bit closer. There. Okay, that's one side done. All right, you can just see there's a little hair coming out, which is obviously what we want. And then the same on the opposite side. Just a little case of trimming up now, basically, guys. That's trimmed up. Then your silicone bung goes back on the top, like so. Okay, and that is a rewicked EVOD head. As simple as that. And then obviously what you do, guys, is grab your base, screw your rated connection. Oh god, screw your rated back into your base. Which I'm even struggling with this, honestly. I'm so poor.
It's got a thread to guide it.
I know. Screw it back in, and then obviously fill, and back in you go. Now, I do want to point out that you can get these for £2, but it's always worth having a rewick yourself. It does work out a lot cheaper for you. If you don't think you're going to be up to doing all this stuff, and to be honest with you, that rubber bung's a pain in the arse. To be honest with you, it wasn't overly hard, and things are always a lot harder on camera because you're very aware that there's people sitting at home pissing themselves, especially when one of them is sat in front of you. So it's worth always thinking about doing it yourself though, guys, and that really isn't as hard as I probably just made it look. We're going to go back up to now, guys. We're going to fill it up. We have a vape. Make sure it doesn't implode. Right, see you in a second.
Hey guys, welcome back up. Mr. Brown's just filled his Kango EVOD and having a vape.
Yeah, basically, guys, quick few notes. One, if you were like the worm and decided to laugh at me, I do not find you very funny.
We do.
You see? But it does. It happens, to be honest with you.
And if it's going to happen on camera. Let's be honest.
Let's face it. It's people to laugh at me. But do want to say, got it done. Secondly, when it comes to wig, like I say, you're using 1.45. Use what you've got. If you've got 2mm, use 2mm. 2mm should be fine. This is probably perfect, if I'm honest with you. It's totally dependent on. We've had 2 mil wick that seems more like 1.5. We've had 1.5 mil wick that seems more like 3. But make sure you're not going to choke it too much. All right. So if you have too little, you're gonna have issues leaking. If you don't have enough, you're gonna choke. You're not gonna. Sorry. If you have too little, you don't have enough of the same thing. If you have too much, you're going to choke it and you're going to get dry hits. So worst case is if you've got some wick, you're using such a small mat in there, you can afford to unravel, or you can afford to do what I did and add a couple of little bits of heavy wick just on top to help things along a bit nicely.
I do want to quickly point out that that little Kanga head in there, the EVOD head, it is a lot smaller on the depth where the wire comes out, and obviously you're only using one bit of wick in there. So
what I was going to get onto,
our ohmage,
my 5 wraps on this piece of wick is 1.4 ohms. Now for me, lovely, love it, really do. But
just bear that in mind.
If you're after a higher resistance coil, maybe 32 gauge ain't the way forward, because obviously if you was after like a 2.5, you're talking like 9 wraps. They're very close coils. So if you've got 32 gauge, just bear in mind sort of 6. Maybe if 7 is only going to get you to 1.8.
If you are comfortable doing the close calls, then it's going to be fine for you still. But obviously, just be aware those calls are going to be extremely tight in there when you're going for your higher ohmage. But yeah, that's pretty much it on that. So, but this thing is wicking like an animal right now.
This actually working beautifully. There's a very slight little bit of gurgle, but you get that with the standard heads anyway if you pull it tight. But there's been no gurgle whilst firing whatsoever. I do want to say, using Camfold recently for us has just been working really well. We don't like nichrome as much. You get a bit of a weird taste when you're bedding in. But using this Camfold, it is heating quite quickly, and obviously I'm running low ohms. I'm only on 3.9 volts. I know I'm on 1.4 ohms. People are a bit like, what? But that's just how I do things. You are getting a lot of, well, that. I like that, but some people don't. It can be a bit. It is a bit noisier, as you can probably hear it from there. But it's working beautifully. It really is working well. Flavours even better than the standard head. We're using a blueberry DIY premix range. It's not going to be as good as a dripper. We've said this already in this video, but it is slightly improved over the standard heads.
Banging for a pluralizer, it really is. I mean, I know we all had a laugh at him about like, getting his bung in place, but the wick he put in worked perfectly. It's working a treat. You can't argue with that. So there's not much more to say than his wick went right first time. I mean, if you're used to rewicking like Nova heads or V3 heads or C5s, this is no real difference. That bung is a little bit tighter. I know I said have a little laugh about it, but it does look a lot tighter, and obviously to Mr. Brian it felt a little bit tighter. But tightness is not always a bad thing, I think. But yeah,
I think part of it's down to you using a thicker gauge wire, because obviously there's less resistance in that wire. There's only 6 coils in there. If I'd have put 6 coils in this, realistically I'm looking at about 1.6 ohms. They were measuring 2.5, so it's a thinner wire, less resistance. More resistance. So it's going to be easier to get that rubber bang in. If you're using 30 gauge, you may have to do a little with a screwdriver like I did, but it got in now. Positive got in there. It's all well and good. Everything's gravy. So it's not overly hard to do. If you're using these clearimizers, I definitely recommend you pick up like even 5 meters of Camfold and 5 meters of silica wick, or even a couple of meters of silica wick. It's going to cost about 5 or 6 quid.
And worst case, buy a couple of spare heads just in case you don't get the first one going right.
For 5 or 6 quid, you're going to get 3 heads. With 2 meters of silica and 5 meters of Camfold, you're going to get 3 that work for you. It's just a little bit of work. But once you've got a knack of it, from there you're set. You're good to go. It's 5 or 6 quid. Realistically, the amount of silica you're using in this.
But seriously, guys, if you're not used to rewicking, don't forget they're 2 quid off first vape as well. So pick up a couple. You're good to go for. I mean, like we said, we rape vape this quite hard the first night. He's been using it literally all week. It's probably had a good like 3 to 4 weeks standard usage out of it already on one head, and it was still going strong. If you got 2 or 3 of these spare, you're looking good for like 3 to 4 months, easy.
The vape off them's lovely as well. Really, really good solid vape. And now this is running low resistance, and I'm running slightly higher voltage.
It's probably not going to last as long.
It's probably not going to last as long, no. But I'm getting a nice warm vape. So take from one hand and give to another.
That's it.
But they're costing you so little. If you was to buy this for like £5.30, chuck on 3 extra heads, you've got the one. You've got 4 you can work with. So you can take the old one out, give a Rewicking.
Don't forget Pro Realm, your 10% discount. Probably drop that down to a tenner. 11 quid down to 10. Done job. For a tenner, you're good for 4 months.
Exactly. It's a very, very good. I'm so incredibly happy with this EVOD. I think Pro tanks are definitely going to be on the way next time we order something from somewhere. Where I don't know, but Next time we're definitely going to chuck a couple of pro tanks on there. Worm, as already said, he's going to buy himself a couple of EVODs.
From First Vape. I'm going to use our discount code, obviously.
That's going to be so weird using our own discount code for a site. Dave, obviously a massive thank you for that. I know we've got discount codes from other sites before that were unique, but
this is ours.
But this is actually Pro Worm, and we are. Is it just Pro Worm? Or is it? This is really poor of us. So again, it's about a week ago.
It's just Pro Worm. You can do it either in full capitals or full lowercase. Works on both. So
just Pro Worm, but that'll get you 10%, and it's just really cool that Dave actually made this one just for us. Like we've had unique ones before, like we say, but it's not the same as having something that's actually your own name, and it makes me feel semi-famous. So yeah, that's really cool that Dave's done that. I am sorry guys, I am just looking for the email to make sure it is Pro Worm, because I don't want to say yes, it's Pro Worm, and it ends up being like Pro Worm 10 or something. Although this doesn't make it out there, it is very important to us.
Yes. It's our first one, and like we are so grateful to that from Dave. So
it is Pro Worm, and it gives us and everyone else 10% off. So we're going to probably have that somewhere around here.
Yeah, here-ish.
And we'll have the site up here for you, and we'll have EVOD update stuff over there, and we'll have our Facebook and our Twitter will be in the description as well. Please feel free to follow us on there. We've said in a video a minute ago, Facebook group, it ain't massive,
but they're very active people on there.
Very active.
We're getting like 50+ posts a day, it seems. My phone seems to be going with it, so.
But yeah, it's a very active group. Come on there. We personally help out as much as we can if you've got questions.
But some of the other guys do.
Everyone on there is very friendly.
We all chip in.
We've got a couple of the guys who own the stores that have been sending us stuff as well. So if you've got any great genuine questions about their products and you're not sure how to link their stores, or they would put it there and there, come on there and ask us. And if we can't help you, hopefully they will be there too anyway. And obviously, Dave, if you're watching this, come on our Facebook. I'm not sure if Dave is a member. I don't think he is, but Dave, come and be a member. Yeah, so obviously, big thank you to Dave. Really, really impressed with this, actually. We were very anti-Kanger, so much so that he wouldn't even buy Kanger batteries. I would have, but I went in the market for him. This has completely turned that around, this EVOD. That's kind of how much it speaks for it. It's
revitalised the Kanger name for us.
Mm.
It really has. I mean, I can't state how much I hated the T3s.
If you watch the T3 review, you kind of gather from it just how little we held those in esteem.
Yeah. But this is
this is much better. So guys, I was saying, this is better than the V3.
It is miles better than the V3. It really is. Just like the conditions or issues you do have
you're getting the kind of best of every world, aren't you? You're getting the kind of the look of the Nova with the STV kind of case, which is wicked. I really like how it looks, because you get them in silver and black from First Vape, and you usually have a silver and black battery, so that's going to look. I
still
wicked.
think the only downfall of this personal Kanger is it hasn't got a drip tip functionality in it, but the tip on this is still really good. It feels very natural in your mouth. Incredibly
comfortable to use. I do like the fact it's clear as well, because I'm like, oh, I've got smoke in there. Or
vapor.
But Lou's going to correct me. But I just all round, this is a very, very nice thing to use. I love the fact that if you've got juice in there and you need to change your head, whip it out, another one in. No need for fanning around with juice, potentially wasting it or whatever else. I think that's really good. We've had no leaking, slight gurgle here and there, but it's never resulted in liquid in the mouth.
Or liquid out the bottom.
No, again, they whip all the way to the bottom, which is something the V3 doesn't do, which is kind of what the selling point of this was when we bought the T3s, or the T3 was. And obviously this has it. But unlike the T3,
it works.
This one does work. We can't really say more than that. Our opinion of Kanger has been completely changed. We get a pro tank and things go wrong for us, then it'll be back to normal. But that won't change the EVOD. They are very good looking. They perform fantastically. I definitely recommend something variable voltage. If you've not got something variable voltage, 1.8 ohm heads, just because they're going to run better. It depends on the kind of vape you like. Personally, I like it warm, and this is now nice and warm. I mean, I could have set at 4 volts at 1.4 ohms, but this is flavour, vapor. A vapor is immense off of these things, so much more so than it is off of a V3, and that speaks a lot, because we did think the V3 was incredibly good for its size, and this is the same as that. So,
very smaller.
Yeah, we're definitely recommending this. Massive thank you to Dave, and very, very impressed with this little product.
Pro Worm!
Pro Worm! Pro Worm! 10% off at First Vape. Honestly, go and use our discount code.
Now!
Let us know if you've used our discount code. I do want to know how many people do use it who watch this video. I think that's wicked that they've done that for us. I think that's genuinely, seriously cool. I think for the follow-up, we're pretty much done. We did say we was going to do a follow-up and a rewick. We've done that now. I think that's about it.
I think we're done, mate. I think
we are done. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I have been Mr. Proton. This has been the Worm.
See you later, guys.
See you soon.